What do you think about President Obama's allowing members of Congress to be exempt from Obamacare?
Totally opposed to it. First of all, I think members of Congress and their staff should be fully come under control of every law. They be subjected to the same laws that every American is. Now, I will say the truth of the matter is, under Obamacare, the way that amendment was actually written, it does treat members of Congress and their staff more harshly. In other words, here you've got a group of employees that their employer has a qualified plan, but they're not going to be able to access that plan. They're going to get dumped off that plan and get forced to buy insurance through an exchange with after-tax dollars. Okay, but I'm opposed to the executive order that changes that. If Congress wants to go back and tweak that, if they want to fix that problem, they need to do that legislatively. So I am utterly opposed to the executive order, and I would probably vote in opposition of that bill to fix that. From my own standpoint, what I've done is I've held in reserve part of my budget to be able to, I guess, boost people's salaries in some way, shape, or form, make sure that members of my staff can afford health care. I've always provided health care in my business. Most members of Congress haven't held that in reserve, and so they're highly concerned that they're going to lose all kinds of staff members, which is probably true.
Would you lose staff members?
No, because I have held in reserve more than $500,000 in my budget every year, mainly just to be fiscally frugal, but also understand this was coming down the pike, and I was going to have to make some sort of provision to provide health care for the people I work with. So I want to see Obamacare repealed. If creating a little pain in Congress helps accomplish that, I'm supportive of that. So this is a law that Congress passed. A lot of these guys voted for it. They should have to live under the problems with that law that they passed.
Some of the unions that are solidly behind the Democrats, they're now saying this is a terrible bill. What does that say about the bill?
It's a terrible bill. The unions are correct. This Obamacare as it proceeds, I think Americans more and more are going to understand the harm that the health care law will do to their health care system. It'll lead to rationing. We already talked about the medical device tax in terms of lowering innovation. I think what will end up happening is over time, and I'm hoping by 2014 election, it'll become so apparent to the American public that they will put the political pressure, not only on Republicans, but hopefully on Democrat members of Congress, that maybe some of them will start breaking ranks and start voting with us to repeal. I mean, let's face it, you had 35 House members vote to codify President Obama's executive order on delaying the employer mandate, 22 to delay the individual mandate. We need to continue that momentum, and I think with more information coming forward, I think that's a real possibility.